Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another Sims Info and Thoughts video. This time on the Werewolves game pack just announced today. I already uploaded my reaction video for the trailer earlier, and this one is going to be all about a bunch more info that has come out, both on the Sims official website and on Twitter. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We'll start off with the blog post. A full moon shines down on a formerly bustling mill town. Alongside the river that cuts it in two, a thick fog washes over the abandoned lumber equipment and disappears into the untamed wilderness. From the rocky outcropping above, a howl is heard, its musical legato breaking the stillness of the world beneath it. Then another bays from the woods and another from the lake until a prowling pack of wolves emerges from the gloomy mist. But these aren't just any wolves, they're werewolves, majestic and fierce like nothing you've ever seen before. Then it talks about Moonwood Mill, basically describing it as once a bustling lumber industry, but now the town is transformed and works as a cover for all these werewolves living here, and that there is hidden history and that it is possible for you to discover some fascinating secrets. So what's there to do around town? There's plenty to sink your teeth into. During the full moon, you might notice crescent-shaped Lake Lundvik has a magical shimmer to it, making it the perfect time to try to catch the elusive Luna fish and to climb up to the howling point that looms over the lake to pluck the even rarer moon petal flower. Okay, so the Luna fish is a fish that you can actually get. That's good. It's been a really long time since we got a new fish, and that's interesting that it's implying that this fish can only be caught during the full moon, so there's a bit more challenge than with other fish to get it. I do find it interesting that moon petal is a new harvestable because for some reason we already got Wolfsbane in the Vampires game pack, so I don't know if they'll do anything new with Wolfsbane if you have both vampires and werewolves. Or if you're feeling brave and looking for adventure, delve into the tunnels that run under the town, a network known as the Underground, to try and uncover secrets and find quicker routes for navigating back and forth. The town's pack members are also always up for a good spar at the pit, assuming you have the claws for it. In Moonwood Mill, there's always plenty to do, especially if you're a werewolf. Heed the advice of the locals though, stay out of Greg's way and you'll be okay. It's kind of funny with this underground thing. It makes it sound like as if it's not a rabbit hole, but I still think it is. Creating your own werewolf. A werewolf can be many things: fierce, playful, dramatic, cuddly, the list goes on. In The Sims 4, werewolves come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and themes. In Create a Sim, you can fully customize your werewolf to tell the story you want. All werewolves start with a beast and a sim form that are linked, providing parity and matching up changes to body shape, clothes, and facial features to the other form, but that's not to say that you can't create a beast of your very own. Unlink the forms and make them as distinct as you'd like. Whichever direction you take, edit their facial structure, ears, eyes, tufts, and more. Paint on menacing scars to tell the story of a dramatic fight between opposing pack members, or cover them in silly jellyfish? You have full control over your beast form's pelt, so create one that's as traditional or as wildly unexpected as you are. So it kinda sounds like we can paint on werewolves after all, just like with cats and dogs, but I'm still a bit reserved about it. I'm not gonna believe it until I actually see it in action. Next we have finding community in a pack. Moonwood Mill is home to two distinct wolf packs: the Moonwood Collective, a pack of seasoned rustic werewolves that value tradition, community, and self-control, and the Wild Fangs, a scrappy, free-spirited crew of rebellious werewolves that value self-importance, self-acceptance, and are inspired by punk and grunge aesthetics. Yes! That's definitely an aesthetic that I've wanted in The Sims 4 for a while. I also like that there's two opposing groups of werewolves. It kind of reminds me of Discover University and its rival aspect too. To join either one, visit their hangout and get to know the pack. Once you're on good terms, the pack's alpha may challenge you with a few trials. Complete those and you're in. The work doesn't end there, however. Joining either pack comes with its own obligations, hierarchy, and do's and don'ts. As a member of the pack, you represent something greater than yourself, and someday, if you play for pause right, you might even become the alpha and represent the pack itself. So this does sound a lot like Get Together, but I would have been shocked if it didn't do that, because with the whole packs and werewolves, it just makes sense to have that in there. I'm curious about the trials though. I'm assuming they'll still be pretty easy to complete, but that does sound intriguing. Next, we have Life as a Werewolf is Wild. With every howl, scratch, and transformation, a werewolf can grow their power to unlock new abilities such as running swiftly on all fours, marking their territory, lunar resistance, and even immortality. But it's not all stakes and sparring. As their power grows, so do the unique ways in which that werewolf views the world. These are represented by a growing number of temperaments, each of which distinguishes how that sim's fury may grow. So that sounds interesting. I guess the temperaments are kind of like the curses from spellcasters. Speaking of fury, it's probably time we talk about the most important aspect of every werewolf's life. At all times, a werewolf's fury is growing. Using your unique werewolf powers, sparring with other werewolves, hanging out in beast form, being under the full moon, or doing behavior that conflicts with your temperament will push fury to increase more quickly. Once maximum fury is reached, a transformation is imminent, so always be mindful of your fury, because it just might come back and bite you. Okay, this actually sounds pretty good. I think that's how werewolves were like in the previous games as well, especially if you let their mood get too low. Yeah, I definitely remember that when I was re-exploring werewolves in The Sims 3 the other week. The lore of Moonwood Mill. As you spend more time in Moonwood Mill, you'll discover hidden knowledge about its magical roots. Meet with Wolfgang. Of course they were gonna name a pre-made sim in this pack Wolfgang, but that's not a complaint. I would have done the same thing. The local librarian in the center of town, and check out werewolf-themed books to unravel truths about Moonwood's mysterious beasts. Though everyone in town knows that to find the best secrets, you'll have to head out into the neighborhood and dig or explore a little deeper for long-lost books and items. If that's not your style, try interacting with the locals. It's not all about joining a pack. Once you get to know them, Christopher, Rory, and their pack members will each reveal their own past and unique perspectives on werewolf history and philosophy. Okay, I guess this is kind of like those interactions in Cottage Living and My Wedding Stories where you can ask the locals about kind of like the area, and they have unique flavor text that they reply with. Even the town's only non-word denizen has something to share. Head on over to talk with Celine Lopez, the owner of the Grimtooth Bar and Bunker, one of the lots built in partnership with community creator James Turner. Interesting. They already collabed with him on Snowy Escape with some of its lots, so it's kind of odd. Between My Wedding Stories and this pack, they're already repeating builders when there's others like Evelyn Sims and Miss Griffey who haven't worked with the Sims yet, so not sure why they're already repeating so quick. Nothing against James personally, he is a very talented builder, but it does get tiring seeing the same simmers get extra attention over and over again. There you can find the Werribee remedy. Disclaimer, not the cure for lycanthropy, that's another thing entirely. Or order a drink and some food. You'll be pleasantly surprised by their impressive array of meaty options. There's also Greg, of course, but we don't recommend trying to pry information out of him. You wouldn't want to risk it, right? The blog then ends with announcing a gameplay livestream for June 10th at 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and that yes, this pack is releasing on all platforms on June 16th. Now we're looking at a few screenshots I was sent by the EA Creator Network program. So this one is pretty cool, the werewolf running on all fours, the one transforming in the background, and two about to fight with the full moon in the background. Then we have this screenshot, which I'm pretty sure is meant to represent the two different groups of werewolves, where we'd have the Wild Fangs on the left and the Moonwood Collective on the right. Next we have this room set up with a few werewolves in here. I love the toddler werewolf doing the howl, and the two werewolves playing tug of war. It looks like the sim on the right is reading about some occult lore, and I like the build vibe that's going on here. There's quite a bit, like the artwork on the walls, including one of Vlad's scratched out. Wow, that's Vlad hate. And there's also a wall mirror with a waning crescent on half of it. That's really neat. And looks like there is some clutter on there, though I'm assuming you can't place your own. I think that's just placed there. And the chair in front of the chess table, I think, is also pretty neat. We also have a werewolf gnome. It's been a while since we got a new gnome too, isn't it? Lastly, we have a collage of a bunch of different werewolf sims. I like the floppy ears. And looks like we have a new nose ring where it's actually two rings together. And the teeth, yes, the teeth. And there's also some just like outfits in general. I think it's pretty much what I expected. Some neater looking stuff, but some ripped clothing too. Now we move on to Twitter. So I was pretty concerned about there being no body hair at all in the trailer. And SimGuru Frost says, "Hey Simmers, we are working on body hair that will be coming to the base game in a future update, and we'll share more when ready." The Sims also made a reply saying, "Our werewolves are covered in fur, but we can assure you that things will get hairy in the base game sooner than you think." So that is weirdly open to interpretation, but by the sounds of it, we're not getting body hair alongside the Werewolves game pack like I figured we would. But no, of course, the most sensible solution is not the one that they're doing. I mean, this pack is coming so soon after my wedding stories. I think it would have been fine if they even had to delay it like a month or something, because it sounds like, yeah, we'll probably get this by the end of June or maybe early July. I am glad they answered this question right away though, and that they confirmed that it is going to be free in the base game. Another interesting thing confirmed is that telescopes are finally returning in The Sims. SimGuru Nova tweeted out this picture of a werewolf using one, and follows up by saying, "Oh, and by the way, this one will be available in base game. There will also be a special version of the small telescope coming with Game Pack 12 Werewolves that has a tie-in to the lore." So that sounds pretty intriguing. I wonder what the lore is all about. Nova did also say, "I'm so excited to share, but can't give away too much yet. But there is a lot of really awesome lore in this pack, with ideas from Grim Surudoi, SimGuru Morgan, and herself that came to fruition as lore that surfaces via gameplay. Exploring the world will pay off." Okay, that sounds really interesting too. I do love how, with more recent worlds, they are putting more effort into the lore, and that really helps with the worlds feeling a little bit less like a movie set and more just lived in. Staying on the topic of lore, Nova also says it's not necessary to have vampires or Realm of Magic to get all the major lore beats, and that there are going to be unique interactions between these occults. I wonder how far that's going to go. Is it just going to be some social interactions that have the same animations of talking or yelling at each other? Or is there going to be more? Like, are they going to incorporate Wolfsbane? Or, I don't know. Hopefully there is something interesting. Or even, like, vampires and werewolves having special fighting animations between each other. Now, that would be awesome. Getting back to the telescope, SimGuru Connor does confirm that it has a hint of death. So, I don't know if we're going to get the meteor strike death back from The Sims 3. That would be awesome to see. Talking about the worlds, it is confirmed there is just one by SimGuru Ash, and there is going to be 5. Exactly what I expected, considering vampires had only 5, and Realm of Magic also had 5, unless you count the Hidden Magic Realm, which technically has a 6th lot on it. That still sucks though, because that's gonna fill up really quickly, because I personally don't like deleting pre-made sims, and then there's going to just be less loss to start off with. We also have a sneak peek at winter in this new world thanks to SimGuru Bat, so yeah, it looks pretty nice. I'm sure this world is just gonna look gorgeous during the winter time. Regarding lunar cycles, I asked if they would be a thing in all worlds or just in Moonwood Mill, and SimGuru Connor responds saying all worlds, thank goodness. I was a little worried that they wouldn't be. I guess I should have also asked if lunar cycles are coming in the base game update, but I'm assuming that it is like Supernatural in The Sims 3 where they were just kept to that expansion pack. SimGuru Morgan says all I'm going to say about Greg with a hushed emoji, and I guess that's where Greg lives. It's probably like with how the creature keeper lives in that one decorative house in the woods, so yeah, I'm guessing it's like that. Nova responded to a question about mooncasters, if there's a new career, or if Greg is the mooncaster, and she says mooncasters are part of werewolf lore. Stay tuned for more info during the live stream. When Rustic Sims tweeted about the toddler werewolf howling, SimGuru Connor responded with, teach to howl, so looks like that is going to be an interaction that parent Sims could teach, or maybe it doesn't have to be parents necessarily, but yeah, that sounds potentially very adorable. SimGuru Ninja tweeted in response to SimGuru Bat saying, boo vampires, I'm training up to come for you. I didn't realize there was a vampire face on that punching bag, that is pretty funny. One thing I was curious about was the Sims leaning against the trailer, and when Nando asked was that only marketing magic, or is that a new pose, SimGuru Ash responds, with no marketing magic here, they can do it in certain spots, and elaborated a bit more saying it depends on certain items, like the trailer, a certain tree, etc. Haven't played as much as I'd like, so not sure how many. That is too bad that it can't be done against any regular old wall. We'll probably have to wait for The Sims 5 to have a capability like that. I guess it also means that the trailer is just a decorative object. Maybe there's still a tiny chance that it's a shell, but I don't think that's happening. Next, we have a bunch of screenshots from the SimGurus, so I'm going to go through a bunch by SimGuru Ash first. So we have a couple of Create a Sim screenshots. I love these individual rings, and the bracelet and the necklace, all moon themed. Just, yes, this is right up my alley. So it's kind of funny actually, I already have a similar custom content necklace. We also have a pair of boots and shredded leggings, so yeah, that's pretty neat as well. And the next screenshot I think is supposed to be one of the styled rooms coming with the pack. We got a ceiling fan that looks very rusted, another ceiling lights, a partially broken mirror. Wow, yeah, that actually was in the trailer. A new bookshelf, and a workout device. I keep forgetting what that particular one is called. I don't think it's just a workout bench, but it has what looks like a car seat on it. Oh boy, yeah, now people are gonna take that as a hint to cars. And then we have a new floor lamp and a window with a sheet over most of it. That is an interesting look. And then we got, I guess it's kind of like an end table with those suitcases and the punching bag with the vampire on it again. And some wall graffiti. That looks really interesting. I'm sure builders are going to have a lot of fun with that, especially if there are different swatches that have different letters and just designs on it. And oh yeah, and I do love how the punching bag is just put into a tire. Kind of reminds me of that car activity table from the little campers kit with just how it's assembled. And I think the flooring is new as well, and there is a new rug. Next we have a couple of screenshots around the trailer. I just love how run down this world looks. And then we have a couple of pictures of the sunset in Moonwood Mill. And this looks so pretty. I love the lake here and the ducks swimming around. So yeah, it looks like that is going to be a nice place to hang out. And yeah, that does look like a fishing dock across from there. So it does look like that is going to be playable, as I previously speculated. And here's just a few more world screenshots from Ash, so I'm looking forward to playing around in this world. I think it's going to be pretty interesting, and having this lore to find, and I think it will be distinct enough on its own, so it doesn't feel too similar to the other woodsy worlds we have in The Sims 4. It's just too bad about the size, because I know I'm going to be craving the next world pretty quickly, because it's just not going to have much room for new Sims that I'll make. Hunter did post this picture of a toddler werewolf chewing a chew toy, so there we go, that's another thing confirmed that they can do. And Nova posted this picture, the werewolf just saying, "Sup," as the caption. And here is a werewolf working at the bus bar. I love how in the front there is a sign where it's like, "Werewolves don't pee here." I'm sure you'll be able to just go ahead and do that anyways. Alright, so that is pretty much it. My goodness, there is so much to go through. This always happens every announce day for a pack. There's just so much posted on the same day. From the trailer to the blog posts and SimGurus tweets just scattered about. And yeah, I think I didn't miss too much. It's just like, if you want to see more examples of SimGurus as werewolves, you can just go to their profiles and see their pictures. If anyone at all actually honestly did watch this video all the way from the beginning to the end without skipping forward, I highly appreciate that, because these info thoughts videos on announce day of a new pack are probably the most difficult ones to do. And I mean, this ended up being basically the length of a Let's Play episode. Overall, I am looking forward to this pack more than I was from only watching the trailer. I still feel that the werewolves' faces look off, especially the head's just too small. But I'm interested in seeing how the live stream is going to go, and I really hope that this pack won't be broken like my wedding stories, because yeah, the pack looks pretty decent and potentially better than my wedding stories, but if the pack ends up being broken on release, then there's not much point. You just have some nice clothing and objects to work with that hopefully won't be broken as well, but then if the gameplay and everything else doesn't work well, then it's not going to be that usable until a month or two later when there's a dedicated patch or two to fix it, at least most of the problems. And that wraps up another Sims Info and Thoughts video, so feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, what you think of the Sims 4 Werewolves so far. And be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!